Welcome back to Soul Plus Systems, Anita. The last time you were here, we unpacked a huge part of your story. And rather than retell it, I want to pick up where we left off and find out who Anita is today. So if you're new here, subscribe on YouTube. And if you prefer audio, follow Soul Plus Systems on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It really helps us to keep these conversations going. So what has surprised you the most since we last talked?
Oh gosh, I love these conversations because we're ever evolving, and I love looking back on the start of a journey to where we are now. And what's been really resonating with me at the moment is, and like you've probably noticed this as well, in the socials at the moment, there's a lot of censorship going on around, especially queer communities and queer voices getting silenced and accounts being taken down. And so I guess for me, what has really resonated with me is that our voice and our authenticity and our freedom and our expression is so important. And the times of us silencing ourselves or dumbing ourselves down to fit in are gone. We really need to speak up. And so for me, for my journey in the beginning of not having a voice and being in the cult and trying to fit in, and to now being this artist that's fully expressed, with all this censorship stuff going on, it's lit a fire in my fucking belly to take it up a notch and not stay silent.
Yeah, absolutely. It's obviously happening here in the States as well. Our community is definitely under attack, which I think that everybody should be able to express themselves and people should be able to have different opinions, but they should be able to do it in a respectful manner, not with all this hate and everything that's
Yeah.
happening. I agree with you. It's super important for our rights for everybody to stand up. That's why I created Rainbow Pride years ago, 12 years ago. I created the anti-bullying campaign of one love, one family. And we're LGBTQ plus allies worldwide, 8.5 thousand global members. So yeah, I definitely feel the calling to support our community as well.
Yeah. And even if you're not in the queer community, just to have a voice around you, expressing yourself, your sex positive expression. And that's what I see now. And this is, I'm like thinking of all these new art pieces that I can do and exhibitions I can do, and just around this as well in light of this. So it's a good inspiration. But even if you're not in the queer community and you're an ally, just the fact that we can be authentic and have that voice, because I find that what's happening now and what I'm seeing is this story of social media is okay to show violence and war and fear and hate, and they want to keep you in that. But in the space that we're in, it's all about love and freedom of expression and intimacy. And so they're creating fear around that, but that's where the love is. So I find that absolutely fascinating that we're perpetuating this hate, but there's just all this love that they're censoring. You don't have to be queer to have that, but it seems to be that obviously the queer voices are being silenced because we're more open to express it and we're more fearless in expressing it.
But what better way to keep a whole community down than to keep them in fear? We both know that so well. So I think that's why we both resonate so well with the journey of, like you mentioned, that there's more love within the community than there is negativity. Allies are wonderful as well, like you were mentioning before, because inclusion and diversity are really what makes the world go round. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what gender or skin color you might be or something like that. It just doesn't matter. Everybody's a human being. We all matter. Our stories all matter. Everybody goes through pain. Everybody
Yeah.
goes through fear. Everybody goes through anger. Everybody goes through those journeys on their own. And I think at the end of the day, it's that individual decision to dislike a certain group or dislike a gender or a race or fill in the blank. And it's just like everybody has their own issues and their own skeletons in their own closet. So I find it then it's really unfair that people cannot look at themselves in their own mirrors and just ask themselves personally, hey, why do I dislike this group? You know what I mean? If it really came down to people actually being self-aware, I think that
Yeah.
the world would be a much better place.
Yeah. And you know what's fascinating too is the triggers. And I see this with my artwork. One piece of artwork there'll be 4 or 5 people standing in front of it, and all the reactions are different. Some will be empowered, some will be hated and just be triggered by it. Others will see beauty, others will see something negative. The artwork hasn't changed. It's the perspective of the person looking at it. And so I think to really look at our triggers, why is this? If it's a fear or hate or shame, why is it triggering me in that way? And look at ourselves, because there's a lot of lessons in that and how we react or respond to things. And it's the same with me, like being brought up in a religion. And you're the same. You've come from a similar background. I get triggered if I see these religious groups just pouring hate on people. And look, there ain't no love like Christian hate, right? And I get triggered by it. But at the same time, because of my background, I look at that and go, oh, hang on a minute. I don't agree with what they're doing, but I'm not going to hate that person for it. I just need to walk away and go, like, that's just not my thing. I don't resonate with it. I don't hate you for it. You're still a human being. Why actually perpetuate hate on either side? It's just crazy.
Yeah, it really seems like negativity just breeds more negativity. If you feed into those emotions and those feelings with those particular people, everybody wants to have that last word. So when they want to have that last word, then what becomes a topic of discussion quickly becomes an argument. So yeah, people are
Yeah.
not willing to rationalize and to think rationally through things like you were mentioning. With all of this going on in the world right now, has your relationship with creativity changed?
Oh, it's empowered me more because it's lit that fire in my belly to really tell stories through the art and to bring back the love and the freedom and the authenticity. If we have to fight for that, I'm going to do that through my creative work. So, the work isn't about sex or sexuality, really. It's about a story and empowerment and getting people to come back to love. Yeah, so I'm definitely new exhibitions and new artworks. The wheels are turning over in my head. I can tell you with all of this.
Yeah. What piece of your work feels the most personal right now?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm actually diving into at the moment. I'm doing a series, a kink series for men, because I have had over the years a lot of men that have expressed to me that they really want to be represented. They have a hard time coming out and expressing themselves as well, and they really want to be represented. And I've done a lot of work that are feminine inspired. So I'm really enjoying actually talking to men and what their desires, their identity, how they express themselves, and bringing that out onto the canvas. So yeah, that'll be my next series, is telling stories around that. My last one was the drag scene. This one is for the men. I'm really loving it. I'm really loving it from their perspective.
Very interesting. Yeah,
Mm,
I've had some men on here that definitely have taught me a few things I definitely never knew.
yeah.
And a lot of oftentimes due to the masculinity is what I've heard is that they are afraid to share their emotions and afraid to be emotional and things like that. So I have a better understanding of all of those things now. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's unique to what you're saying as well, because men matter as well, and their health matters as well too, and their mental health matters too.
Yeah.
When
And that
life gets yeah, when life gets overwhelming, do you have anything that really grounds you? I know we talked about nature last time. You still keeping up with nature?
Oh, yeah, every day. I'm out in nature every day. What I've been grounding a lot with lately is listening to I fall asleep at night and I'll put on hypnosis or a meditation. And I generally don't sleep very well with sound, but I don't know, I fall into these deep sleeps and I'll just put an 8-hour meditation on and I'll wake up and I feel amazing. So subconsciously, I know that what I've put on is going in and yeah, so I find that really powerful.
Yeah, it's that mental bandwidth that you get back at the end of the day when you stop focusing on the negative things and you start
Mm.
to begin to focus on all of the positive things. What's something that you stopped doing because it no longer serves you?
Death scrolling on social media. I have strict rules now on how I interact socially, whether that's on social media or with people in person. I only want to bring in energy that is serving the world in a positive way. Doom scrolling or death scrolling on social media doesn't serve any purpose at all. So that's one thing I've eliminated. And just being conscious of my interactions. Yeah, what I'm putting out and who I'm inviting in.
Yeah, I'm having to do the same thing as well. Because with us being the lighthouses and having that light that shines for other people to be able to find us, we definitely have to be more self-aware in order to be protective in the way that we need to be protective and open in the way that we need to be open to people, but also not falling back on the people pleasing and not going back to sacrificing ourselves. If our cup is not full, we literally cannot fill the next cup at all. Being able to pour into yourself and take those moments for yourself and to have the grace. That's something I've had to learn to do. Is just slow down and take the
Yeah,
breaks to
it
have a
is.
bad
It's
day.
slow down. It's
Yeah.
slow down, isn't it? It's in the being instead of the doing all the time. And you would find that being an entrepreneur, we're always doing, we're in action. And there's no time for that silence to just sit with self. So in the being is where the power is or where the answers are. Yeah, I love that too. Slowing down.
Yeah, slowing down is not always so bad. And that's something
Yeah.
I've had to really pump the brakes on. What's a question nobody ever asks that you wish that they would?
Oh, that's a good one. Question nobody asks me. Honestly, don't know. People ask me all sorts of crazy things. So I have to really think about that. What would you want to ask me? Mm. I see. I didn't think about it, don't you?
I think you got me stumped on that one. There's so many things that come to mind. You're so intellectual. So it's like, I feel like I can ask you so many things. What are you still figuring out right now? What's something that you're figuring out and dialing in and taking the momentum and just kind of stepping off the gas for a second?
Yeah. Figuring out, I honestly believe we never really figure it out. It's just we never fully arrive at the destination. We get to a point and then we learn something new. And then so for me, I'm no longer trying to figure out the bigger picture. I just want to be in the now and take it one step at a time and work with that day or that week and then see where that takes me. So I've actually stopped trying to figure shit out, to tell you the truth, and just being led by being in the now, being in the being, and following my intuition.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. Honestly, that seems to be the universe's advice these days is to slow down and to smell the roses and just be able to take it all in.
Yeah, for sure.
If somebody finds this episode on the hardest day of their life, what do you hope that they hear?
I hope that they hear amongst everything that's going on in the world, amongst their pain, their story, that they're worthy, they matter, they're beautiful, they're loved, and to just sit back and take it slow one step at a time. Again, you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to fit in with anywhere in particular. Just love for self and yeah, you're beautiful. Because a lot of people I find don't have that self-worth. They're lost. But it all comes back to self. It's an inside job. Whatever's going on in the world around you or whatever your backstory is, that doesn't matter. It's just coming back to your being. That's where the answers are. All the answers are within us, and everybody looks outside, but that's not where they are. So that would probably be my biggest advice and what I've learned on the journey.
Yeah, I found that taking personal time for myself and being able to go inward really, I had to be honest with myself about so many things. I know, especially during the first initial year of COVID, I had to sit by myself for a long time and just really be alone with myself. It's like if you can't be alone with yourself and you have to constantly be surrounded by people, maybe that might be the first clue because the answers are within you. That is for certain. And everybody does look for outside context. It's okay to maybe read a book or listen to a podcast or something like that, but always try to keep it positive and go at your own pace. Go at your own pace, build at your own pace, rebuild at your own pace.
Yeah, because we're all on, and this is a funny thing about society is we look at, and especially with social media, we look at other people's journeys and we're like, why are they so much further ahead? Like we aspire, the grass is greener on the other side. They've got everything that you want. But to not compare to other people's lives because we don't know their full story. We don't know what it took for them to get where they are. So to come back to self, because we don't need to compare ourselves to anybody else or need to be where they are. We just need to be where we are. And I agree on the loneliness side of things. When you can actually sit with yourself and not need anybody to make you happy, that's where the bliss is. And I struggled with that for years, like a long time ago. Once I actually cracked it and I was like, oh, wow, this is amazing. Being in your own space and not needing anybody and having that self-love, a whole world opens up to you. But you've got to go through the pain to get there, unfortunately. And I feel that's where a lot of people give up because it's really hard. It's hard to do that work. And so they give up before they get to the bliss. So don't give up. The moral to the story, sit in it and you'll get to the other side.
Yeah, sit in it is the best way that you can describe it because it is uncomfortable. It is a mess. It is not pleasant. And the more honest that you are with yourself, the more the scars. You have to dig out the toxicity. And it's just, for me, it's since my childhood. So it's like going back for me throughout my whole lifetime, sitting there and sitting in that pain and stuff like that. But on the other side of it is complete harmony. It's complete balance. It's complete, like you said, bliss. It's just those feelings of peace, inner peace and inner knowing that you no longer need validation from other people because you have your own validation. And I think there's power in authority and agency.
Yeah, absolutely. When you don't need permission or validation from anyone, you've cracked it because outside conditions don't control you. People don't control you. You're sovereign in your being and it feels really good. So
it took me a while to become sovereign, but when I first even learned what agency was, I was like, oh, I've been doing that my whole life, but really did it. But I did it. And then I'm like, okay, I think I understand now. So yeah, for me, being sovereign is just being able to function every day as an entrepreneur, not having that outside influence of social networks and people judging and people wanting to be horrible and rude. And it's just, you know what? I'm the best at what I do. I know that. And I'm confident in my abilities and my skill set. And it's just, other than that, it's for me, it's about building one rep at a time and to leave the legacy. For me, I've got Rainbow Pride and I would love to one day have a foundation where I can actually be a philanthropist and financially give back and maybe start those journeys for foster kids straight out of foster care. So they don't have to come out of the system and struggle and end up in another system because society tells them that they're going to be there. So I have a lot of things that I'm very passionate about. Foster kids is definitely one of those things. So eventually we'll get there.
yeah, I love that. And isn't it good to have that big vision and mission of service? Because if we were all in that space where that's love. And this is coming back to that love theme where we're in service, we're helping one another, we're kind and we're looking out for one another. It dissipates that hate and that fear. So I love those big visions and missions by people like yourself that are doing that because it just lights up the world.
Yeah, we definitely need more people like us because without the light, there would be nothing but darkness. And can you imagine that? I can't. So
No.
our light is way too much and the dark will never prevail. Where can people support your work at?
My website is definitely the best place to go and have a look. I've got everything on there from my artwork to my story, also on the socials. So I'm on Instagram and Facebook. Definitely interact with me there. Send me a message. Come and say hello. I'm very interactive. I'm very social. So I like to, if you comment or send me a message, I'll always answer back. But yeah, jump on in, ask me questions. I don't know what questions people want to ask me, but go for it. And I'd love to hear from you.
Awesome. We'll include your links in the description box below. Anita, thank you so much for coming back. It's been a pleasure catching up and hearing what you're building now. And if this conversation meant something to you, subscribe here on YouTube and follow Soul Plus Systems on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Share this episode with somebody who needs it. And we'll see you in the next conversation.